The Lost Heir. In the heart of a bustling village nestled amidst the verdant hills of western Nigeria, there reigned a king whose name echoed through the annals of time, King Olawale. With his regal stature and commanding presence, he ruled over his subjects with benevolence and wisdom. Yet, despite his outward appearance of strength, a shadow of concern clouded his brow. King Olawale had 3 wives, each as beautiful as the next, yet his palace remained devoid of the laughter and footsteps of children. In the hallowed halls of his ancestors, where the whispers of the past intertwined with the hopes of the future, the absence of an heir weighed heavily upon his heart. None of his wives has been able to conceive. Each day, as the sun dipped below the horizon and the stars illuminated the night sky, King Olawale found himself haunted by the specter of his own mortality. For without a son to inherit his throne, the legacy of his kingdom hung in the balance, like a delicate thread swaying in the gentle breeze. Determined to find a solution to his predicament, King Olawale sought counsel from the village's most revered sage, the Ifa priest. Known far and wide for his wisdom and connection to the spirit world, the Ifa priest dwelled in a humble abode on the outskirts of the village, surrounded by the whispers of nature and the mysteries of the cosmos. With a heavy heart and a mind burdened with worry, King Olawale made his way to the Ifa priest's sanctuary, his footsteps echoing against the cobblestone path that led to the heart of the forest. There, beneath the shadows of ancient trees and the watchful gaze of the spirits, he poured out his troubles to the wise old sage. The Ifa priest listened intently, his eyes closed in silent contemplation, as the king's words filled the air with a sense of urgency and desperation. And when at last King Olawale fell silent, his voice choked with emotion, the Ifa priest nodded solemnly, his weathered face etched with the weight of centuries of wisdom. After what felt like an eternity of waiting, the Ifa priest opened his eyes, their depths as dark and mysterious as the depths of the ocean, and spoke with a voice that carried the weight of the ages. "The spirits have spoken," he said, his words echoing through the chamber like the tolling of a distant bell. "A son shall be born to you, O king, a son who will carry on your legacy and rule over this land with wisdom and strength." But the identity of the mother remains shrouded in mystery, hidden within the veils of fate. King Olawale's heart swelled with hope at the Ifa priest's words, yet a nagging doubt lingered at the edges of his consciousness. For how could he be certain that the prophecy would come to pass, and that his kingdom would indeed have a rightful heir to succeed him on the throne? The oracle explained further that the king would have one son but did not reveal which of the wives would bear the son. The Ifa oracle revealed that each would get pregnant after eating from a portion the priest would prepare. As whispers of the oracle's prophecy and what will be done spread throughout the kingdom, they stirred envy and resentment in the hearts of King Olawale's 3 wives. For each of them harbored their own desires and ambitions, their own dreams of motherhood and power. Yet it was the 2 elder wives, sisters bound by blood and jealousy, who plotted and schemed in the shadows, their hearts consumed by a hunger for power and prestige. And so it was that they hatched a plan to ensure that the youngest wife will not eat out of the portions that the Ifa priest is bringing to the palace. They planned this evil plot to tip the scales of destiny in their favor and ensure that the son, when he came, would be theirs and theirs alone and not the youngest wife. 2 days later, the Ifa priest returned to the palace with a pot of stew into which he had mixed the potion for the 3 wives to share. The 2 older wives, according to their evil plan, quickly ate up all the special stew without considering their counterpart, the youngest wife. They believed that if the youngest wife did not eat from the stew, then they could be sure that she was not bearing the only son. When the youngest wife discovered the empty pot of stew, she started to cry, for she had lost the opportunity to bear a child. In desperation, she went to where the other wives kept the empty pot of stew and scraped the pot with her fingers, licking every bit of leftover stew she could get. As the days turned into weeks and the weeks into months, the palace was filled with the sounds of life and joy. The 2 senior wives were sporting rounded bellies. Alas, they are pregnant, and surprisingly, the 3rd wife too started to exhibit a little bulge. All 3 wives were pregnant. Time passed and the 2 senior wives delivered their babies. But to the horror and disbelief of all who beheld it, the newborn babies were not the son they had hoped for. They both had daughters. How disappointing! The 2 wives were not happy. Their anticipated hope has been dashed. None of the 2 daughters would ever ascend the throne of their father as a king. And as the whispers of gossip and speculation echoed through the palace halls, the stage was set for a tale of intrigue and deception, where the threads of fate intertwined with the frailty of human desires. They now started to pay attention to the 3rd wife, worried that she might have a son. When she was ready to give birth to her baby, the 2 senior wives were in attendance to help with the delivery. As soon as she gave birth, it was a baby boy. The 2 elder wives silently conspired yet another evil plot. They quickly removed the baby boy from his mother before she gained consciousness. The baby boy was immediately taken away and replaced by a stone. The 2 senior wives quickly raised an alarm and called everyone to come and see what just happened. They claimed that they were shocked by what the youngest wife had just delivered, a stone. That is an abomination. The king cried bitterly and immediately went into a very deep depression. All hope of a male heir has been dashed. The stone mother soon became an outcast, as the king sent her away from the palace and nobody in the village would have anything to do with her ever again. She was regarded a witch who ate up her child and replaced him with a stone. In the meantime, the baby boy had been wrapped in cotton cloth and taken into the forest by the wicked wives of the king. He was abandoned under a tree and left to either die of cold and starvation, or eaten up by a wild animal. But as fate would have it, a medicine man who lived deep in the forest and was out gathering herbs found him. With a gentle touch and a voice filled with compassion, the medicine man gathered the foundling into his arms, his heart swelling with a love that transcended words. For in that moment, as he looked upon the innocent face of the child, he knew that fate had entrusted him with a sacred duty, to nurture and protect this precious gift from harm. He took him home where he raised him into a fine gentleman. As the years passed, the bond between the medicine man and the foundling grew stronger, their days filled with laughter and love amidst the tranquil beauty of the forest. Together, they roamed the verdant expanse of their woodland home, their hearts united in a shared sense of purpose and belonging. Many years passed and the king died in very deep sorrow and depression, still without a male heir. The villagers needed to appoint another king, but there was no obvious candidate, so the Ifa priest was called. "The rightful king dwells among you," the Ifa priest declared, his voice ringing out like a clarion call. In the home of a powerful medicine man, deep within the heart of the wilderness, lies the one who will lead you into a new era of prosperity and peace. The oracle revealed that their king lived deep in the forest. A delegate was dispatched to go and fetch the would-be king. The king's heir returned to the village and was welcomed by all, but his origin was a mystery to everybody. The oracle had said that the boy's mother resides in the village, but who could it be? And amidst the whispers and speculations that echoed through the streets, one question burned brighter than all the rest: who could the mother of the rightful king be? For the prophecy had spoken of her presence among them, hidden within the folds of destiny, her identity a mystery waiting to be unraveled. With the fate of the kingdom hanging in the balance, the Ifa priest devised a plan to uncover the true identity of the king's mother. Each woman in the village would cook a pot of stew, imbued with the flavors and spices of her own unique essence, and the king's heir would taste from each pot, guided by the wisdom of the spirits to identify his true parents. And so it was that the village square was transformed into a bustling marketplace, filled with the sights and sounds of 1,000 culinary delights. From the humblest hut to the grandest mansion, pots of stew bubbled and simmered, their aromas mingling in the air like a symphony of flavors. All the women in the village prepared their best stew ever. Even the outcast poor woman, the former wife of the late king, prepared her stew of dried vegetables with little or no seasoning at all. She managed to bring her wretched-looking pot to the village square where every other woman also brought theirs. No one recognized nor took notice of the dirty poor outcast, the stone mother. With bated breath and hearts pounding with anticipation, the villagers watched as the would-be king made his way through the maze of pots, his senses attuned to the subtle nuances of taste and texture. And as he sampled each stew, his brow furrowed in concentration, his mind a whirlwind of thoughts and emotions, as he sought to uncover the truth that lay hidden within the depths of his soul. As the hours passed and the sun dipped below the horizon, the king's heir at last reached the final pot, his heart heavy with anticipation and uncertainty. And as he tasted the simple stew that lay before him, his senses were flooded with a wave of emotion, as memories long buried rose to the surface, like ghosts from the past. For in that humble pot of stew, he tasted the flavors of love and sacrifice, of hardship and perseverance, of a mother's unwavering devotion and a son's unspoken gratitude. And as he looked upon the face of the poor woman who had prepared it, her eyes filled with tears of joy and disbelief, he knew with a certainty that surpassed all doubt, she was his true mother, the one who had given him life and love beyond measure. With a voice filled with emotion, the king's heir proclaimed her as his rightful mother, his words echoing through the village square like a clarion call to destiny. And as the villagers cheered and celebrated, their hearts filled with a sense of wonder and awe, they knew that they stood witness to a moment that would be remembered for generations to come. So the stone mother is actually the king's mother. What then happened? The Ifa oracle told the king guards to bring the other two wives of the late king. When they were presented, The Ifa priest told them to reveal what they did to the youngest wife several years ago, or else they would die violently in the presence of all the villagers. With fear and regret, they narrated their evil deeds. Everybody was shocked. So an innocent woman has been castigated for several years because of jealousy. The wicked wives have forgotten that no one can stop what God has ordained to happen. It must surely come to be. And the evil that men did will always catch up with them no matter how long. The wicked women were publicly disgraced and banished from the kingdom, never to return against. With the truth finally revealed, the outcast mother was welcomed back into the fold, her name restored to its rightful place among the honored and respected members of the community. And as she embraced her long-lost son, her heart overflowing with love and gratitude, she knew that the trials and tribulations of the past had led them to this moment of joy and redemption. And as the newly crowned king ascended to the throne, his heart filled with a sense of purpose and determination, he vowed to rule with justice and compassion, to lead his people with wisdom and grace, and to honor the legacy of his ancestors with every breath he took. And so they lived happily ever after. That's the end of the story. What have you learned from this story? Please make your comment below. For more interesting stories and folktales from the heart of Africa, please like, share and subscribe to my channel. Thanks for watching. Check out the next captivating story in this channel. See you later.